Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany Reacts Show. And on this show we talk all things movies and entertainment. We have a ton to go over because we just had a D23 Brazil, which, as I told you guys last week, is like one of Disney's big conventions where they release a bunch of new trailers and info on whatever movies are coming up soon. So we had like basically new announcements from every vertical, so we have a lot to go over. But then outside of D23, there was also even more new news that dropped. So like we have a new Star Wars Trilogy, that's like a new episode 10, 11, and 12. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about a bunch of movies that have been announced or could be in development. We have a lot of updates, even on Stranger Things, the next season. So like I said, this is probably going to be another long live stream, I think, because at least for right now I'm doing them once a week. They're probably going to be long streams just because I have a lot to go over, because a lot of news has happened this past week. But how are you guys doing? Hi Nate, hi Josh, hi Natanya, hi Vincent, hi Alice, hi DeBoy, hi Adam, hi Alexander, hi Fake Mustache, hi Cream Cheese, hi Natanya, hi Adam. I think I said Adam. Yes, thank you to all of you who are here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hi Danny. You guys are always great. Hi Cheetah Viper. I appreciate you guys coming to my show every week and you still supporting the show, even if you don't watch these shows live, because I know I think most of the people who watch this show don't actually watch them live. So I'm just thankful to you guys, even if you watch them on the replay. I still see the support in the comments. I read all the comments, so I really appreciate that. If you want to give this video a like, just so YouTube shares these videos more broadly, please do so. Alright, so let's jump right in, because like I said, there's a lot to go over. Let's look at the box office first. Now this is good news for me, because I told you guys I was allowing myself to be like kind of toxic about this movie. Just this movie. Just because I've talked at length about my issues with this movie's existence. And it's seeming like this movie is not tracking very well. So the early tracking is to earn around $66 million on its domestic box office opening weekend. In comparison, the 2019 remake opened with $191 million. So that's quite a drop-off, quite a steep drop-off. I've also noticed that there isn't nearly as much hype and interest around this movie as there was the last movie. Like, regardless of how I felt about the last movie, I could tell that there was a lot of interest there. I feel like Disney's also not really marketing this movie. Like, they'll occasionally drop like a new picture or something, but the pictures from this movie aren't very interesting because they just look like live action stills of some animals, which is not all that like enticing. So I don't think that this film is like really catching on. I feel like this movie might do better abroad than it will do domestically. That's my gut feeling, at least. But from 191 to 66 is a huge drop-off. There's a very real chance, especially if this movie isn't well received, that it could totally flop. And I would say deserved, and maybe Disney would learn some lessons from it. I don't know. But, well, I don't know. I think the lessons they should learn from this is, let's try not to just like bleed or milk every single IP we have to the bone. Like, let's not do a live action spin-off of a live action remake. Like, let's not do stuff like that. Like, we gotta have like an ounce of originality, some creativity, some integrity. Like, we gotta stop making movies like this. I hope that's the lesson they would take away from this, but I feel like if this movie does flop, they'll just be like, oh, okay, we're done with that franchise, and then move on. They wouldn't learn anything. But what do you guys think? Are you surprised at this drop-off? Do you think it'll do better? What do you think? Margot, you think Mufasa will lose more money, and you know it. Okay, so you're very confident it will do badly. Nobody asked for this film. That's a great point. Some duck here says, why does his neck look so long? No, you're absolutely right. Why does his neck look so long? He's got like almost a giraffe neck. that doesn't look right. No, you're absolutely right. That looks weird. Danny says, this looks boring and very uninspired. I'd rather watch a live-action Olaf movie. A live-action Olaf movie? I feel like that would be cursed. Have you guys seen that movie, what is it, Jack Frost, the live-action snowman? Are you saying you want it to be something like that? I don't know. I mean, the live-action, the live-action Frozen is definitely coming eventually, so we're gonna see live-action Olaf eventually, whether we want to or not. Aaron wants to know who this movie is for. I don't know. I think this was definitely a mistake. And that sucks because I really like Barry Jenkins, who's the director on this film. I loved Moonlight. I thought Moonlight definitely deserved to win over La La Land, and you guys know how much I love musicals, but I thought Moonlight was, like, particularly special. And it sucks that, like, this is what he's given to do because this is the state of the industry and that's all these directors are given to do. Like, can we not give Barry Jenkins, like, you know, a nice budget to go do something cool and original and unique and not this giraffe neck thing? I don't know. I'm this movie's biggest hater. So, I want Disney to learn a lesson from this is all I'm going to say. Anyway, Moana 2 is tracking to do very well on the other hand. It's tracking to earn $125 million to $135 million on its 5-day domestic box office opening weekend. That's huge. That's very, very huge. That would be the best 5-day Thanksgiving debut of all time domestically. So, I think this movie is going to be a monster. I think it's going to be even bigger than people expect, and I think people already have, like, big expectations. And the reason why is because this movie actually is, like, super popular on streaming. So Moana is the most watched movie of the past 5 years. Let me read that again. Moana is the most watched movie of the past 5 years. The film has been watched on Disney Plus for 80 billion minutes, the equivalent of watching the film 748 million times. That's not just the most watched movie on Disney Plus. That's, like, in general. Like, that's how much people watch this movie. So it's very, very popular. It's the kind of movie that got more popular after it left theaters because it kind of only did so-so. Like, I believe it made, like, in the $500 million range. Like, I remember when it first came out, Disney kind of considered this movie to be a bit of a disappointment because it didn't do as well as Frozen. But it seems like it just had a life on streaming, on digital, that, like, it just kind of took over. And now it might possibly be more popular than Frozen, which is so surprising because Frozen was massive. But that's how popular it really blew up on streaming. And so the CEO of AMC, the AMC theaters, Adam Aron, says that he has heard that Moana 2 could be an even bigger success than Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is currently the highest grossing animated film ever. So, it's shaping up to do really, really big business. It's looking like it could be a massive hit for Disney, which, I mean, Disney has actually had a fairly decent year. Like, compared to last year, like, this year is, like, oh, thank God. Because, like, remember last year we were just talking about how, like, Disney's movies were all just, like, flop after flop after flop after flop. Well, now, it's like they've got Deadpool, they've got Inside Out, Moana, I think even the Pirates movie and Alien Romulus did okay. Like, it's not as bad this year. Like, I think Disney will be okay. But yes, it's looking like this movie could do better than Inside Out 2. And remember, Inside Out 2 made $1.6 billion. So if this does even better than that, we're talking like high $1 billion, almost $2 billion range, which would be insane. But given these kind of numbers, maybe I can see it. Maybe I can see it. But what do you guys think? I've already told you guys that I didn't really, like, I'm kind of surprised by all this Moana love because I never cared for that movie, and I love Disney princess movies. I love most of them, but Moana did not click with me. and I didn't like the music either. So I wasn't surprised when it didn't do as well as Frozen, because I didn't think it was as good as Frozen. And now it seems like it's just blown up since then. And I'm like, where is all this love coming from? Maybe I need to go back and watch that movie again. Maybe I missed something. But like, I know there's got to be Moana fans in the chat, because obviously it's very popular. Josh says Disney made a great comeback this year. Yeah, they really did. The Blue Gecko Nerd says the Oscar nominees, the Oscar nominees are waiting in clutch. Oh yeah, I think the Best Animated Feature Oscar for this year is going to be very competitive. Because you're going to have Moana, you're going to have Inside Out, and you're going to have The Wild Robot. And there's that Flow movie I've been telling you guys about. They just all should be thankful that Miyazaki was last year, because if he was this year, he still would have won. But like, yeah, it's going to be very competitive. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. Najir says, neither hate nor love Moana. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I'm just like neutral. Nicholas, okay, you like Moana, you're a fan. Adam is excited. The boy says, I don't really know. I want to be excited because I adore Moana. But all the stitching forms just doesn't inspire confidence. Oh, you mean the fact that it used to be a TV show? Yeah, that's still like my biggest hang up, is I'm like, can they possibly pull that off? Like, that would be incredible. Okay, Cinnamon Roll, you're excited for Moana too. Okay, so a lot of you guys are excited. So obviously Moana has a lot of fans. Clearly you guys watch this movie over and over again. Or you have kids who watch this movie over and over again. I don't even think it's just kids. I think adults like this movie too. So yeah, it could do very well. We'll see. Now, a movie that seems doomed to fail. Oh, poor Tom Cruise. So, if you guys remember last year, Mission Impossible kind of got wrecked by Barbenheimer, which is sad because I actually really liked Mission Impossible 7. But the unfortunate thing that they did was they made Mission Impossible 7 and 8 like two halves of one movie. So, like, Mission Impossible 7 was just like a part 1. And the budget is apparently insane for part 8, or part 2, and it's near $400 million. Near $400 million, y'all. That's insane. Paramount is interested in marketing the film as the final entry in the franchise to boost audience interest, but Tom Cruise is against a public goodbye to the character. So Tom is like, I don't want to get rid of, I don't want to stop playing this role. He did say, I think at one point, that he wanted to play this role until he was like gray and old. So I can see why he would be like not wanting to let go of his character, because I honestly thought that he was going to get to play this role like forever and that people would just always be interested. But I think for whatever reason, the interest in this franchise has just like completely evaporated amongst like the general public. I think only like the diehard fans of this franchise still care, which is just unfortunate for him, especially since he still has one more movie that's already been made that he has to release, and it costs nearly $400 million. I can see why Paramount would be like, hey, let's try whatever we can to save this, especially since this will probably be the final movie, because I don't see, even the most successful Mission Impossible movies, I don't think $400 million would be enough to like be in the clear, because like they don't make like $1 billion. So I think this movie is pretty much doomed, and that's unfortunate because I really like these movies. I've seen all of them multiple times. I'm actually a big fan of this franchise. So that sucks. I would have seen Tom Cruise, parkour around cities until he was in his 90s. Like, I love this franchise, okay? But it seems like I think it's run out of steam. What do you guys think? Fake Mustache thinks this is gonna flop hard. Editing Geek says they're literally all the same movie in a different font. But that's kind of what's fun, though. They have like a very like predictable formula, but it's not about the destination, it's the journey. It's about like, oh, what's different this time, Oh yeah, what happened to that space movie with Elon Musk? That's a good point, Alexander. I've been looking forward to that. Ever since, I don't know if you guys remember, but like several years ago, it was announced that Tom Cruise was at least considering doing a movie actually in space using one of Elon Musk's rockets. And we haven't heard about that since. And I've been kind of curious about that too. I bet that's probably dead, probably for money reasons. Maybe it would also cost about $400 million, maybe more. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think this movie is pretty much doomed. Sorry, we do have some AI news to go over. I know you guys don't always like to hear it, but it's the medicine you gotta take down because it's important, okay? It's going to affect the industry. You gotta listen. So, Prime Video is adding AI-generated TV recaps to your original shows. The feature will recap episodes of a show if a viewer has forgotten where they left off, with the recaps generated down to the exact minute of where the viewers stopped watching. Okay, I know a lot of you are anti-AI, but can we not admit that sounds incredibly helpful? Like, to the minute. Like, it knows where you left off, and it will, like, auto-generate a recap of everything that just happened up until that minute, so you remember. So you get personalized recaps. I mean, that's a good idea, right? Like, I know AI obviously has its hang-ups, but I can't think of, like, a bad angle to this. Am I missing something? Are you guys, like, no, you still hate AI for whatever? Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a good use of it, actually. But what do you guys think? Josh says these AI recaps spoil the movies. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up, Josh. So are they like? I bet this is an accident because the AI doesn't know. So I guess an issue is that they're spoiling the show. Oh, that's not good. If they could fix that aspect and like get rid of that, I still think this could be a good idea. Febreze thinks this is AI used for a good way. Okay. Negret says it's really unfortunate that we even have a segment on AI. Why? I think for all the negatives that AI could bring about, I also think it's interesting to like witness unfold in real time. So I'm torn on it, you know? Vincent says, I'm glad that I'm not subscribed to Amazon Prime. I refuse to watch shows and movies with AI. But the actual shows weren't made with AI, just the recaps. Is that even too much? Interesting. I don't know. But we do have another AI story. Ridley Scott is like jumping on the AI train. He says he wants to embrace AI and use it in animation. You can have done in a week that would take 10 guys 10 weeks. So he kind of says the quiet part out loud. And he's like, yeah, let's just use it because we don't have to use as many people. Which is what everyone's afraid of. They're afraid of losing their job. And Ridley Scott's like, yeah, we won't need you. Like, this is great. So yeah, lots to worry about if you are a person working in this industry right now. I think my prediction is still like within 5 to 10 years, we'll see a massively transformed industry by technology. I really believe that's true. And it's just about the extent of the change rather than if there will be change. Because obviously there will be change as this technology advances. I'm just curious to see like what the industry will look like on the other side. Very, very interesting times ahead, for sure. But anyway, let's move on. Oh, Alexander Padilla, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Hey, Brittany, Euphoria Season 3 needs to get canceled because Zendaya is filming. Well, we're going to get to that. Yes, we're going to get to all of that. She is very much booked and busy, but I appreciate your super chat so much. Yes, Euphoria Season 3 did get canceled. Well, it's it's in talks to get canceled. I don't think it's official, but like it's looking likely. I think that needs to be canceled, honestly. I feel like all the actors are too booked and busy. They're also way too old for their roles. I always thought it was weird all that stuff was happening in high school anyway. I thought like the characters were too young for the stuff they were going through. I didn't watch that show because it just like it made me uncomfortable. But for everything, I feel like I've watched that show because of social media. I feel like it needs to be canceled. So, yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But we're gonna talk about Zendaya in the Christopher Nolan movie. Anyway, let's move on. So, entertainment news. Sorry, I left off this story. I had it up, but somehow it must have got deleted. I apologize. I was supposed to like talk about this more last week in my show last week. So I'm gonna talk about it now. My bad. Anyway, so if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, there was that whole drama over Cynthia Erivo not liking the fact that a fan decided to make a fan edit of the poster to make it more like the original poster, and she had this honestly ridiculous response that was way over dramatic, and it reverberated even outside of the entertainment sphere. Like, because of the election, I've been watching a lot of like political commentators and stuff, and it like punctured politics. Like, she really stepped in it. And so I think at this point she must know that like those comments were not received well, because she had to basically come out with an apology. Well, her version of an apology. So this is what she said. I think I'm really protective of the role, and just as I'm passionate as, well, I am passionate about it, and I know that the fans are passionate about it, and I think for me it was just a human moment of like wanting to protect little Elphaba, and it was like a human moment. I probably should have called my friends, but it's fine. So that was her response to the backlash she got over that ridiculous comment about, this degrades us, this degrades me, and looking down the barrel of the camera, all of which has been memes. Like, people still meme that thing to this day, which I find to be kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, I think the memes are funny. But I think this statement is not enough. I think this statement is still missing why people thought her comments were so ridiculous. Because she says the reason why she reacted that way is because she was trying to protect little Elphaba. But no, she wasn't. She was trying to protect herself. She was upset that Cynthia Erivo, not Elphaba, was being erased. That's what she felt was happening by just simply covering her eyes. It wasn't about protecting Elphaba, it was about protecting her ego. And everyone could see through that, and that's why people were making fun of her. So, this whole, oh, it was just about trying to protect my character. I was just, having a human moment. It's like, no, you were having an egomaniac diva moment. That's what it was. You were having a diva moment. Like, own up to it. So, I mean, I think people have moved on at this point. It's not going to hurt the movie in the sense that I still think it's going to do very well at the box office. It's projected to do very well. But I do think that this might have hurt her reputation a bit. And, like, are people going to want to work with her when she's just so, like, kind of controversial? Or is she just going to, like, build up a fan base that wants to see her movies when it seems she's just so off-putting? Like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about this comment? Yeah, as Josh said, even Ariana doesn't agree with what Cynthia said. So, yeah, totally agree. Alice says, my favorite part is Ariana not giving a damn about the whole thing. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Cheetah Viper. Even in this statement, she's still, like, I mean, I don't know this woman. I could be wrong, but like her statements just read like she might be a narcissist or have narcissistic tendencies. Because it's very much me, I, like, what's good for me, about me. I look through every situation through the lens of me. That's what she gives off to me. Yeah, as Kana says, it's not really an apology even. Nicholas says, an artist with an ego, how surprising. Yeah, Rob, she doesn't really say, I'm sorry. That's true. Very true. But that's the story there. Sorry I missed it last week. Alright, so let's get to all the D23 Brazil announcements. There's a lot to go over, like I said, like pretty much every vertical plus, like the Fox stuff, and Avatar, they all had, like, announcements. So we're going to talk about all of them by studio. So we're going to start with Marvel first. So, we did get a new trailer for Captain America Brave New World. Now, they are positioning this movie very hard as, like, kind of being like a soul sequel to Winter Soldier. It looks very much like it could be like a direct continuation of that movie, and just like the aesthetic and the style and the lighting even, like it looks very much like that universe, that tone even. So I like that because I do like Winter Soldier. However, I also felt like the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show also tried to strike that tone, and I did not like that show at all. And a lot of that team behind that show is behind this movie, and that continues to make me nervous because I thought that show had a lot of problems. And it looked good. I think the show looked great, and like I said, I think this trailer, actually, the movie looks great. But I'm still nervous about like the actual story and the script, because it does look like they're trying to achieve a lot at the same time. And I'm not... They might be successful. They could be successful pulling it off. But I'm also worried about, like, will non-Marvel fans be really excited about this movie? Like, I think Marvel fans will, because it's a Captain America movie. Harrison Ford's in it. Like, I think the core Marvel audience will definitely show up. But we already know what the core Marvel audience is when no one else shows up. Because you look at the Marvel's box office, that's basically it. The core Marvel fan base, who will see anything. Because no one else showed up for that movie. So they need more than just the core Marvel fan base. What I'm worried about is that, like, is Harrison Ford and the Captain America name and, like, the shield being in a lot of the promo, is that enough to get non-Marvel fans excited for this movie? I don't know. I really don't. Maybe. Maybe people are really looking forward to more Cap stuff. Like I said, they do keep showing the shield a lot in the trailer. It's doing some heavy lifting here. But I'm also worried it could be, like, very boring. Because one of the things that I did like about the Falcon and Winter Soldier movie was that it was hella boring. And it could be like that. I can see this movie being that way, but I could also see it being like another Winter Soldier, because look at Juan Carlo here. He's acting his butt off like he usually does. It could be good, but, like, I still think this movie's like 50-50. Like, either it'll be really, really great and it'll be like the next Winter Soldier, or it's going to be, like, comically bad or really boring. I really don't know. I mean, we've got a good shot here of Red Hulk. Okay. I don't know if that moves you. Anyway, maybe comic book fans, but who knows. But anyway, how are you guys feeling about this movie? I feel like my thoughts about this particular film are a bit all over the place, because I don't really know how, like, people are going to react to it. But how are you reacting to it? Fake Mustache says this is going to flop so hard. Okay. But Rob says it's going to be awesome. So there's a mix of opinion here. That's good. Okay, Du Bois says, not really interested. I agree with you that you said earlier. I think they're trying too hard to mimic Winter Soldier without understanding what made it so good. Yeah, I hope the action sequences are really good because in Winter Soldier, like I really liked a lot of the hand-to-hand combat, like the knife fight. I thought that was really cool. Um, Funnily enough, like I don't really see a ton of action in this trailer. Like, okay, there's some flying and like people with their guns out, but like I don't see a lot of like fighting, but maybe they're just hiding a lot of that. I mean, there's this part, so that's going to be hopefully a big action sequence. The White House kind of blowing up. That's got to be a big deal, right? But yeah, I hope this isn't like a movie where it's mostly like political intrigue and dialogue with like basically all the fighting just in the last act because this trailer kind of makes it look that way in my opinion. Like this is like the one big fight battle in the very end or something. But yeah, what do you guys think? Alice says, I'll check it out because I liked the last few things Marvel has done. Hope this continue the streak. That's true. The last few things they put out have really pleased fans. So maybe they finally have figured out what fans want and they've made the necessary changes. That's possible. Ethan says, I like the idea of a Captain America political thriller. It feels like something new and interesting, but I feel like Red Hulk might get in the way of that. Possibly. Rob Margot says, I don't care, they're trying too hard. But you guys are really funny. I don't know, we'll see. I think this one to me is still a giant question mark. I'm not sold on this as a huge hit yet. I still think this one is up in the air, but we'll see. Now, they also dropped a trailer for Thunderbolts. This is a lot more of like a different kind of movie. I mean, it's still in that same, I would say the same kind of vertical of trying to like play off of Black Widow and this like the Civil War aesthetic and all of that. But this is supposed to be a lot more grittier because it's a bunch of like, I guess, scoundrels who, are having to work together or whatever. It's very... I have to admit, I'm also nervous about this movie. Just because you have to have seen, again, Falcon and Winter Soldier to know who his character is here. And you would have had to have seen, what was the other one? I thought there was, yes. Hold on. Well, you need to have seen several different things because Falcon and the Winter Soldier, definitely for these two, but also the Black Widow movie for these two. You need to see the second Ant-Man movie just to understand this character. So there's a lot of homework here. There's a lot of people here where I can see people who aren't hardcore Marvel fans who are like, who is that character? Who are these people? I could see my dad, for example, not knowing who half the people in this image are. So I think this movie has that going against it. So we'll see if maybe that's not a big deal and people just like the movie because it looks interesting to them. I also wonder if Florence Pugh is a big enough name yet to carry this film. She has yet to really star in a lead film on her own that's been a box office success. So I think, okay, I have a theory. So this is a bit of a side tangent, but it's relevant. So something that I've noticed is that every few years, Hollywood gets really obsessed with one particular actress that they just cast in everything they can't say enough good stuff about. And then when they maybe get too old or they have a flop or two, they just fall off the radar and everyone who couldn't stop gushing about them never mentions them again. And they struggle to get work and everything. This happens every few years. There's always that one actress that's just the it girl of the moment. I might upset some people in my audience, but my honest opinion is that I feel like Florence Pugh is that it girl of the moment. I feel like she's more popular by Hollywood than she's known by the general public. Because think about it. She had a very small role in Oppenheimer, which if she's remembered in that film, it's probably because she had her top off. Um, yes, she was in Dune, but it was also an extremely small role, and she looked very different. Um, Maybe you saw that A24 movie she's in, but like that had a very small audience. Not a lot of people saw that movie. She just had a movie come out with Andrew Garfield that is basically doing nothing. Like no one's interested in seeing it. Um, like she hasn't really like starred in a big film that where she was the draw. Yet I feel like pretty much all of the film pundits online and through like the print press that I follow are obsessed with her. And I'm like, I really feel like this is a very skewed one-sided love. Because if you go to the middle of Nebraska, I bet you no one there could tell you who the heck Florence Pugh is. So I'm like, is she really big enough to like pin this movie's entire hopes on? Like maybe this film's audience might know her, so maybe that'll help. But I don't think like Florence Pugh is a proven actress yet. But that's just my opinion. And then you have the rest, which are all kind of like B to C list actors, if we're being honest. So there's not, in my opinion, there is no star power in this movie, or at least not like large star power. So I also feel like this film has that going against it. But do you guys disagree with that? I know Florence does have her diehard fans. So does anyone in the chat want to argue about this? Who disagrees? Angel says Nebraska doesn't exist. What? I know you don't mean that. Jessica H says she's not big enough. Okay. Negrete says, I like Florence Pugh, but I do agree. Yeah. Fake mustache. You've been thinking all of this are gonna flop. Vincent says Garfield will only get remembered for the crazy market. Oh yeah, I feel like the marketing for We Live in Time had more interest than the movie itself. Like all that marketing, and still people were like, I ain't seeing that. The boy says spot on theory, but I don't know if Pugh is the only one. I'd say Zendaya or even Awkwafina is just as much as that If girl, if not more. Awkwafina has the best agent in the industry. I don't understand. I think what's happening with Awkwafina is that she has such a unique voice that like every animated movie studio wants to work with her because they can use her voice for any sort of duck or animal or anything that they want to have like a strange, unique voice, because that's what she has. And so I think that's why she gets cast so much in animated movies. Not because I think she's actually like an it girl or like that famous. I think it's her voice, genuinely. Also, Zendaya, I think Zendaya did genuinely and does have like a genuine fan base because she's coming from Disney Channel. I think that really helps her. Stars that get their start on Disney Channel, I know from experience they tend to have like really like passionate fan bases. So I think Zendaya is bigger than Florence Pugh, in my opinion. But I see where you're coming from. Another person that I would put in that it girl category that has long been past, not the it girl anymore. Do you guys remember that era of Alicia Vikander? When like Alicia Vikander was like, oh, she's so amazing, let's put her in everything, she's just so great, she's a star. And she was in so much. She was even in Rogue One, right? Like they put her in a Star Wars movie. And the whole time I was sitting there like, why are y'all so obsessed with this woman? No one cares about her but Hollywood. I know that sounds mean, but it's true. She was just another one of those it girls that had like a good few years and then people got bored of her and moved on. I kind of feel like I would put Florence Pugh in the Alicia Vikander category. That's my opinion. See, Cheetah Viper doesn't even know who Vikander is. Neither doesn't Denia. Exactly. None of you know who I'm even talking about. Not sorry, Felicity Jones. You're right. I always got Alicia Vikander and Felicity Jones mixed up because they look so similar to me. But no, you're right. That was Felicity Jones. But she was also an It Girl, by the way. She was in so much stuff. She was another It Girl of a bygone era. Yes, both of them were It Girls, though. My point still stands. They both had eras where people just loved them, and it's just, I just feel like they do that with so many random actresses. It's just a pattern that I've noticed. That's all I'm saying. Jessica H is like, who? Anyway, moving on. Kevin Feige teases the future of Eternals at the MCU. We'd be lucky to get any of them back at some point. Yeah, so Kevin Feige was there talking about how, like, some of these characters may or may not return to the MCU. He don't really know nothing. Like, basically, he was getting asked about, like, hey, are these characters coming back? When are we gonna see these characters again? And all Kevin could say was, I don't know. That'd be nice to know at some point. And I'm sorry that you're asking. That's basically the vibe that he kept giving. Like, I feel like at this point, because the MCU is not what it used to be, I feel like Kevin must not have as much power as he used to have. Because I feel like in the 2010s, if you asked Kevin a question and he gave you an answer, that was the definitive, okay, so that's the way it is. Because Kevin said it, so that's it. And now it seems like Kevin doesn't even know what's going on. You ask Kevin what's happening, he's like, well, I'll be lucky to get to work with them again. I don't know. Like, what kind of answer is this? This is very much a wishy-washy, don't ask me, don't look at me, we'll get back to it at some point kind of answer. Like, I just think it's very, very funny that he gave this answer to a couple of different things. Because also, what he was asked about Miles and, like, when Miles would be introduced. And he said, Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse movie, which is in production. I hope that shortly after that he can enter the MCU in live action. We were not talking about Spider-Verse. He knew damn well they did not mean Spider-Verse, but he was like, oh, they can see him in Spider-Verse. As far as live action, oh yeah, we'll do it shortly. In time, eventually. He don't know. He don't know. I really fully believe that, like, they do not have a plan at the moment. Like, I fully believe that they are just flying on the seat of their pants. They have no idea, like, what's next. They're just trying to, like, figure out, like, making sure the movies coming out next year are good, and they're just taking it, like, 1 year at a time. I truly feel like that's where they are right now. Because he was also asked about Scarlet Witch. He was like, you know, on the future of Scarlet Witch, he said, all I can say is that we're excited to find out when and how she can come back. He said, again, he's saying, I don't know. I'm excited to find out. Can you imagine Kevin giving that kind of answer in the 2010s when, like, Marvel was supreme? He was literally asked, hey, when can we expect more Scarlet Witch? And he was like, well, all I can say is that we're excited to find out. Like, he don't know. Like, does this inspire confidence in you in the future of the MCU that everything seems to be so up in the air? Like that where Kevin's not even sure what the heck's going on? Because I gotta say, for me, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Angel Barrera says, yay, Miles confirms for Spider-Verse 3. I mean, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Yes, but I just still find it very funny that, like, that was not what people meant, you know? Like, people want to know when live action Miles is going to be in the MCU, and he just doesn't know. But his common answer now is just, I don't know. And I feel like that, how is that supposed to inspire confidence in the future of this MCU? And it doesn't seem like there's really an overarching plan in place. At least that's where it seems like to me. But how do you guys feel about these comments? Josh says Elizabeth Olsen is taking a long break from Wanda. She really is. When she said she wanted to go do other things, she meant it. I really thought she would want to, like, return to Marvel by now, but clearly she is so happy playing all these Stepford moms on TV shows Because that's all she seems to be doing from what I'm seeing. Cheetah Viper says, get good writers to handle Wanda. I hated Multiverse of Madness. They butchered my girl. Yeah, I would want Jack Schaefer to write Wanda. I feel like she's the only one I would trust. Ethereal Dragon says they made Peter too much like Miles. No, I think Miles could still be different. Du Bois says, who would y'all nominate to play Miles in live action? I think it's going to be a kid no one knows exists yet. Because I think even the kid from Stranger Things is too old now. So those kids look like they need to be in college, you know? Maybe older. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be someone we maybe don't know about yet. Alexander doesn't care about Marvel anymore. You guys really are down on Marvel now. That's really sad. But anyway, moving on. So Kevin also says that X-Men will be important to the MCU after the events of Avengers Secret Wars. After Secret Wars. So here's another thing that I don't understand. Why did we just have Deadpool and Wolverine kind of like finally properly introduce the X-Men and play around with the X-Men and really like get fans excited about the X-Men when now we're about to take a break from the X-Men and not get back to them until after Secret Wars? After Secret Wars. That's in 2027. Hopefully. Like, we'll see. I don't this just goes back to my whole thesis here that they have no plan. They don't know what they're doing. They're making this up as they go along. And Marvel must be a mess behind the scenes. Because how are we only getting to X-Men after Secret Wars, after 2027? When it seemed like Deadpool and Wolverine was like the launch point to really go into X-Men finally, and now we're just going to kind of table that for a few years? Like, what's the sense of that? How does that make any sense? Are you guys, are you annoyed by any of this too? Or are you guys just like, I don't care? Wait, you think Kevin's too old? Vincent says, why can't we get a new IP anymore from Marvel? What do you mean a new IP? Angel says, why are they so insistent on not giving people X-Men? Well, I think there was like some contract about like all the Fox actors still had to play their roles until a certain date. But I think we're way past that date now, or about to be, so I don't know. Josh Loves Movies says, please don't rush the X-Men into becoming the new Avengers like Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts. Yeah, I really hope they do the X-Men right. I really do. But I'm nervous about that too. I really want them to drop the multiverse stuff, but I have a feeling that they're not going to drop it anytime soon because it's too narratively convenient. Yeah, I'm really nervous about that too. But anyway, moving on, because we have a lot more to discuss. Some good news, though. It seems like the director of Godzilla Minus One, Takashi Yamazaki, has indicated that he has met with Kevin Feige. You know, if you want to get me excited for a movie, all you have to say is directed by the same guy that did Godzilla Minus One, and I am on board. You guys know I love that movie. Love that movie so much. So, if this happens, I'd be ecstatic. Imagine him doing, like, I don't know, who would I want him to do? I feel like I'd want him to do someone that could be more grounded. Honestly, I'd want him to make a Spider-Man movie. I would love him to make a Spider-Man movie because I feel like it'd be like in the same vein as Raimi, where it would be like more of a grounded sort of like on the street kind of thing. And that's really what I want from Spider-Man. Oh, I would love that. Or Robert Zemeckis. I would love him to do Spider-Man too. But anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. But anyway, are you excited about this? Anyone happy about this? I know a lot of you guys really love this movie. Oh, Rob says Yamazaki needs to stay the hell away from Kevin Feige. Why are you saying that? You think him working with Marvel would actually be bad for him? I mean, there have been some directors that have been burned by Marvel. I mean, look at Chloe Zhao. Look at the director that did the Marvels. I'm forgetting her name. But, like, there have definitely been some directors that were done dirty. I mean, even Taika Waititi, although I think he did that to himself. but he definitely got burned by Marvel. So that's true. That is a possibility, but I don't know. I think he's such a talented director that I feel like he would be like James Gunn, where he could still turn out a good movie despite the system. So I would still be hopeful. Alexander says, I would recommend that director to not do a franchise movie. But, I mean, Godzilla's a franchise movie. Nia DaCosta, that's the name. Thank you. Negrette says, to be honest, I'm getting really tired of this Marvel stuff. I've really lost interest in it. Wow. You guys, I know you mean it too. So that's really not good for Marvel. Not good at all. Alright, well, let's move on to Marvel stuff since you guys are like, I don't care. Alright, so Star Wars. Star Wars. I actually think Star Wars is in a worse place than Marvel currently. Like, that's how badly I think Star Wars is doing at the moment. Which is so insane. Because I remember the hype around episode 7. I remember when that movie was about to come out and, like, I was in college. And I remember when that first trailer dropped. Because it was, like, all anyone around my campus could talk about. And, like, I remember walking around the campus and everyone was checking their phones, watching the trailer for episode 7. And, like, the excitement was just palpable. It was just palpable. So to go from that to where we are today, it's just shocking. I mean, just year after year of horrible franchise mismanagement. And now they want to fix this by doing more episodes and a whole new trilogy? So they're planning to do episodes 10, 11, and 12 with Simon Kinberg attached to write the trilogy, although some insiders think it may be the start of a new saga instead. So we're not totally sure what this trilogy is going to be. It might be a continuation of the Rey story, or it might be something completely different, like a new saga. I'm really hoping it's a new saga, because I really do not think this franchise, this new trilogy, needs to be associated with the previous trilogy at all. I think that would be a really bad idea, so I'm hoping it's a new saga. But if they're calling it episodes 10, 11, and 12, and it's a new saga, is this still, like, part of the overall, like, Skywalker story? Like, is this in the same universe where, like, Han, Luke, and Leia once existed? Is this, like, in the future way after the story of, like, Rey and Poe and all of them? Like, I would want to know, because I really feel like the potential for this movie could be there, but it's almost entirely dependent on how closely connected it is to the previous trilogy. I really think it needs to be entirely something different, and it needs to be really good. And Simon Kinberg has made some good movies, so that makes me hopeful. And I think just having the moniker of being episodes will also get more people interested, since they're not just spin-off stories. So I honestly, out of all of the Star Wars movies that have been announced lately, like the Rey movie, the Mando and Grogu movie, the James Mangold movie, like, they've announced a ton of movies. I honestly feel like this trilogy, this, like, with the episodes, is probably the movies that have the best chance of actually doing well. Just because they'll feel more important since they're episodes, and I think at least Simon Kinberg has some track record of success. So out of all the potential Star Wars movies that are coming, I feel the most hopeful about these. But the brand is so damaged, they could still do poorly. So it really still depends. How do you guys feel about this, though? I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, as I've said. That's why I don't usually really cover it on this channel. But this was such big news, I felt like I had to cover it. Anyone who's a huge Star Wars fan, are you excited by this? Does this get you, like, more interested in the franchise again? What do you think? Rulu Nuru says, we don't need Star Wars, we have Dune. Well, you guys know I love Dune. Love Dune. Dune head here. I think I agree. Maybe. I feel like maybe, at least for right now, Dune has definitely taken place of, like, the big sci-fi epic that Star Wars used to have. Can we have both going at the same time? I think so. I don't think it has to be either or. But can Disney make a Star Wars movie that's as good as the Dune movies. Like, if we're just comparing quality, that's the bar. Can Disney and Simon Kinberg make a Star Wars movie that's on par with Dune 2? Do they have it in them? They haven't made a single movie that's been able to come close. So I'm doubtful of that, but that would be the bar, in my opinion. The Blue Gecko Nerd says Kathleen Kennedy is ruining the brand. Disney is just too scared to fire her instead of hiring someone more experienced. Is it that they're too afraid to fire her? Or is it, as some of the rumors have suggested that I usually just dismiss, but I'm starting to think maybe it's true, is it that nobody wants the job? I mean, think about it. Who wants to deal with Star Wars fans? No offense to Star Wars fans in the chat or in my audience, but y'all know how y'all can get. You're a very passionate group. Like, who would want to deal with that, you know? Like, maybe it's just like they can't find someone else that's at least of her stature that knows the Star Wars lore that wants to deal with that. That may be the problem. Negrette says that Dune at this point is more relevant than Star Wars. I think in 2024, yes, I think that could be true. Nicholas Wilson says, before Star Wars, sci-fi wasn't taken seriously. Now Star Wars isn't taken seriously. I know. The brand has been severely damaged. Du Bois says, as a Star Wars fan, yeah, we can take things way too far on multiple occasions. I mean, you guys have a long history. I'm just saying. Aaron Lopez, I think the way to bring Star Wars back from the dead would be to make some of the novels into movies. A lot of Star Wars fans have said that. Maybe. Honestly, I think they could benefit from a thick, complex story that comes from literature. So, maybe that is the way to go. I don't know, but we'll see. Now, they are saying that Daisy Ridley's Rey will reportedly be positioned as the Obi-Wan of the upcoming Star Wars trilogy. So, she's still going to be a part of it. So, I guess that means this must be in the same universe as, like, the other previous characters. I think this is a mistake. I really think this is a mistake. I really don't want them to associate this new trilogy with the old trilogy at all. If this is true, by the way, this is only a rumor. This is from the insider, so this isn't confirmed or anything. So if this is true, I really feel like this would be a massive mistake and the trilogy would be dead before it's even, like, started filming. They really need to cut ties with that trilogy and, like, not even acknowledge it. I think it's that serious for them. And if they have Rey in this trilogy, I feel like, what's the point? It's just going to be, like, basically you continuing on from where the story ended. And unless you're going to fix everything, I don't see how you're going to make anyone happy. I think that's a really bad idea. I think this is a really, really bad idea. Anyone think this is a good idea? I'm seeing hard pass. Rob is just laughing. Rex Smith says, please no more Rey or any of the old characters. Yeah, I think this is a bad idea. Yeah, is this even associated with the Rey movie that they were also making? Or have they moved away from the Rey movie and now Rey's going to be part of this new trilogy? Is this basically kind of soft announcing that the Rey movie has been canceled? Like, who knows what's going on? Who knows if this trilogy even gets made? Do you know how much stuff they announce it's going to get made at Star Wars and then they get canceled? So, honestly, all of this is up in the air and none of this may come to fruition at all. So who knows? But if this is true, I think this is a horrible mistake. It's like putting acid in the wound. Oof. Oof. Of course, fake mustache, you also think flop. You think everything's flopping. Yeah, I don't know. Rex, I don't think Disney has a clue. I really don't. But anyway, moving on. So, Avatar. James Cameron did show some Avatar stuff. You guys know I do love the Avatar movies. I really like them. Even though I didn't like the second one as much as the first because I thought the story wasn't as interesting. I know a lot of people think the other way, but I liked the story in the first movie more. But I do like the visuals. I thought the visuals in the second movie were gorgeous. And I think the reason these movies are so successful is in large part because of the visuals and how pretty Pandora looks. So he did show some images of what the Ash people are, who are going to be introduced in this new movie, and they are supposed to be a reflection of the worst side of the Na'vi. We have a lot of anger and a lot of rage in the world we live right now. I really hope they don't try to tie in current events and world politics. I want to keep these movies escapist because that's what they are, just pure escapist fantasy films. I really hope this is not an indication that they're going to dip into modern politics, because I would hate that. But anyway, visually it looks good. These are some of the images we got. I mean, stunning. Look at this. Just gorgeous. One of the things that I love about the Avatar movies is just how they feel so lived in, and how James Cameron really places you there, so you feel like you can imagine yourself walking around on Pandora and living on this world. It's so immersive, and that's why they're so successful, especially when you're in the theater, because I really feel like you're on the back of Inikron, or you're on the Hallelujah Mountains, or you're living in these little Bantu knot homes. You really feel like you're there in the story. And I still think the Avatar movies can be really successful, even though they seem to leave absolutely zero pop culture footprints, which is still very ironic for how successful these movies are. People don't usually really talk about them afterward. So that's very odd, but at least they do very well, and I do think that they're gorgeous. I think the movies are so beautiful. This one looks also incredible. Apparently we're going to look at a new tribe that is nomadic, and they travel through the air. Get a look at that. How gorgeous is that? I want to see, from their perspective, what it's like to live in a nomadic air tribe. How cool is that? I mean, this is getting very Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's just so funny. They have the same name. There's air, wind, fire, earth, all these different tribes, whatever. But I'll allow it. I just think it looks so beautiful, and I cannot wait to see this movie. I want to see this on the biggest IMAX. I'm going to go to 72nd Street IMAX to go see this, because it's worth the trip. Because, oh my god, how beautiful is that? Anyway, are you guys still excited for the Avatar movies? Yeah, I know a lot of you are like, this sounds familiar. You guys are calling them benders. They're not benders. You guys are funny. I think this could also hit 2 billion. I really do. I think this franchise is just an anomaly, and that it seems to just print money despite not leaving any cultural imprint. I think it'll just continue being that way. I really do. Okay, Rula Nuru's excited. That's great. I'm excited. I think it looks cool. I like these movies. Anyway, moving on. We got to see more from Toy Story 5. So here's some new concept art. Apparently there's going to be an army of Buzz Lightyears. He's going to be the villain of the film after they get stuck in a malfunctioning play mode. I thought we were past making Buzz the villain. Why is Buzz the villain again? I thought by the third Toy Story movie, Buzz was solidly, squarely a friend, not a villain. But then in the spin-off Buzz Lightyear movie that they made, he was a villain in that, spoiler alert. And then in this one, in Toy Story 5, they're making him a villain again. I don't understand why they're kind of going 180 on his character. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm a little worried about this. I feel like they're maybe hurting the character of Buzz Lightyear a bit, which makes me sad. But I'm still curious about this movie. I still think it's unnecessary. I wish they had ended at Toy Story 3. I don't know if this movie can undo the sins of Toy Story 4, which I actually didn't like at all. So I'm nervous about this movie. I'm hopeful, but I'm still very nervous. What do you guys think about this? Yeah, it does sound like what happened in the first movie. Exactly. It just feels like we've been here before. Yeah, I don't know why they keep resetting Buzz's character. It's like, I thought he already learned all these lessons. Why is he the villain again? Rex says, yep, when even Tarantino said stop at 3, stop at 3. Exactly. Danny says Mr. Potato Head should be the villain. Right? Maybe it's just me, but I always kind of felt like Mr. Potato Head was gearing up for a villain arc at one point. You know, because he was always cranky and, like, annoyed at everyone. Like, I feel like that would be an interesting, like, direction to take the franchise. But why do you keep just going back to the Buzz Lightyear as the villain thing? I feel like we're over this. Yeah, very unoriginal. It's kind of sad, actually. I'm very nervous about this movie. Not gonna lie. But Pixar has begun to write the script for Incredibles 3. You guys know I'm very excited about this. I like Incredibles 2 a lot more than most. I don't understand why that movie got so much hate. I really liked it as much as the first Incredibles, and I think the first Incredibles is like one of Pixar's best. I am still very excited for this movie, this franchise. I love the first 2 movies. I can't wait. We don't know anything about it. They didn't really like reveal any details. Just that, yep, Incredibles 3 is coming. We're writing the script. So, yes. Are you guys still excited for this movie? Or you're like, they should have ended with 2? Did you guys like 2? If you didn't like 2, why? I don't get it. That's super. Why was it bad? So many people say it was bad, but I thought it was good. Naturally Spiritual says, I would be down for a Toy Story if it focused on a new set of toys and a new kid. That's an interesting idea, like, keep it Toy Story but reboot with a new group of toys. I get that, but I feel like they've invested so much in these characters in the theme parks, they wouldn't do that. Josh Loves Movie says, I hope The Incredibles 3 has a much more menacing villain than Incredibles 2. Okay, I know you guys didn't like the villain in Incredibles 2, so I do hope the villain is better. What about the Underminer? I wanted them to go back to that. They should have the Underminer be the villain. But anyway, I'm still very excited for it, looking forward to it. Now, what I'm not looking forward to, do you guys remember at the last D23 when Pixar announced the Hoppers movie? Which is where the film follows a girl who transforms her mind into a robot beaver? Or transfers her mind into a robot beaver to infiltrate their animal kingdom? Do you guys remember that? And I showed you some images from the trailer that they showed at the event. And it's literally about a girl who, like, transfers her mind into a beaver. This is when I say, like, I want original ideas, okay? I want original ideas. But when the original ideas sound dumb AF, you're not helping yourselves. So when this flops, they're going to be like, oh, people don't want original movies. And it's like, no, people don't want dumb stories. Like, who wants to watch that? Now watch this be like one of Pixar's next classics or whatever. I don't know. But, like, the story on paper sounds super dumb and not at all interesting. And look at this. This used to be called DreamWorks face. Like, DreamWorks used to be known for, like, having this signature, like, smirk that they would put on all their characters. Now Pixar's doing it. I really feel like Pixar's in a rut. Because I'm saying this looks like a DreamWorks film, and I am not meaning that as a compliment. I do like some DreamWorks movies. Like, they've got some good films, of course. But, like, Pixar is supposed to be a lot better than DreamWorks. So, I'm using that derogatory. Yeah, I don't know. Are you guys looking forward to this? Does this sound interesting to you? Sammy says, amazing, kid-friendly Chucky possession. Cosmo says, Disney is going to probably learn the wrong lessons from this. Exactly, that's what I'm worried about. This movie's going to not do well. And then Disney's going to be like, oh, that's why we can't make original movies. And it's like, no, just make something that's not dumb. Du Bois says, I don't know, the concept sounds so bad it's good for you. You know, this concept sounds like 2000s DreamWorks movie. Like, in the same vein as, like, Over the Hedge, you know? Like, that's where I would put this movie. Um, Negrette says, this is such a weird concept. I wonder who thought of this. Yeah, I have no idea. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Original, this sounds like Spies in Disguise. I mean, it's original in the sense that it's not based on any IP, but yeah, it's not a very original concept. But thank you for the super chat. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this movie goes, but I just think it sounds very weird. Now, we did get another shot at Stitch from the Lilo and Stitch live action. I actually have a lot of faith in this movie. I think Stitch looks really good, and Stitch is incredibly popular. He's so freaking popular. Oh my god. As I told you guys, I've worked in both Disneyland and Disney World, and the amount of Stitch merchandise that exists, and the amount of Stitch merchandise that people wear is incredible. I honestly think Stitch could be more popular than Mickey Mouse. Like, that's how popular Stitch is. So when I tell you, and look at this one photo got 11.5 million views. The interest is there. I think this movie will be a massive success if it's actually good. Possibly a $1 billion hit. That's how popular Stitch is. And they managed to not mess up his look. Like, he actually looks really good. Like, I feel like they took the lesson that the Sonic team learned, and they just took the exact design from the cartoon and just made it live action. They didn't try to edit it a little or try to make it more like a realistic take on it or whatever they were trying to do with the original Sonic. They just literally recreated the same design. And I feel like that was absolutely the way to go, because he looks really good. Like, I was worried that he was going to look scary and creepy. He doesn't. He looks really, really cute. So, I think they nailed the design. But yes, I think this movie could be massive. Especially since there's so much hype and interest already. But what do you guys think about this? Yeah, your sister loves Stitch. A lot of people love Stitch. The boy says you can't decide if he's super creepy or super cute. That's kind of perfect, though, for Stitch. Negrette says, I feel he's more popular now than at the time. Oh, yeah, he's definitely grown in popularity, for sure. This is another... Rob says, didn't the original Lilo and Stitch flop? I think this is another similar case of Moana, where, yeah, it wasn't, like, maybe super popular when it came out in theaters, but over time, it's grown a huge audience. I think the same thing has happened with Lilo and Stitch. Absolutely. 100%. But anyway, we'll see how this goes, but I think this movie is going to be a hit. So, there's another Ice Age movie coming. If you guys remember, Disney owns the Fox movies now, and that includes the Ice Age franchise. So, they announced they're going to make yet another Ice Age movie. Yay! I mean, I feel like these movies are so freaking... Like, this franchise is so old that I remember being a little kid watching the first movie. And now I'm an adult that could take a little kid to go see Ice Age 6. That's crazy. This franchise has literally been around since I was a little kid. And they're still making these movies? I think it's time to end them. It's time that we end this franchise for good. I thought they ended it nicely with the last one, where, like, the squirrel, he finally got his acorn. I thought that was really, really sweet. But now they're gonna, like, make him go chase that thing again? Really? We're gonna go through this all over again? I just feel like this franchise died a long time ago. I mean, there's a reason they ended it, because no one was interested anymore. The movies have gotten very bad. So, I think this is a mistake. I think this is a mistake. I think the only reason this movie's getting made is because Disney owns the rights to it now, and they want to flex using the IP just to see if they can get something out of it. That's why they're doing it, basically. Anyone actually interested in Ice Age 6? Dania says you had the tapes as a kid. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, like, I have a lot of strong memories, because I used to like when this franchise was new, because I remember the first movie was actually good, or at least I liked it in my kid mind. I thought the first movie was really good, and there was a reason why this franchise used to be popular. And I remember when it was like really popular, and then it just kind of completely fell off the rails, and the movies got so bad. They would really have to turn this franchise around by just making a really good movie. That's honestly what they need to do. But there's a lot of sequels coming out in 2026. A lot of sequels. So we have Shrek 5, Ice Age 6, Toy Story 5, Paw Patrol the Movie 3, Super Mario Bros. Movie 2, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mutant Mayhem 2. Oh my god, this title. This title. That's a lot. That is a tongue twister. But anyway, that is a lot of sequels. A lot of sequels coming out. A lot of animated sequels. 2026 looks like it's going to be a very big year for animation, because I think probably all of these movies will do very well. Maybe not Ice Age, but I think the rest will do very well. As you guys know, I'm super bullish on Shrek. I think Shrek could be a $2 billion movie, and that is my prediction. I'm sticking to it for now. Toy Story 5 could still do very well. Kids love Paw Patrol. That'll do well. I think Super Mario will do well. I think this movie will do well. I'm not saying it. So yeah, I think animation's still going strong, but it's very much stuck in the sequel phase. Like, we can still make animation, and animated movies can still do very well in theaters, but they kind of have to be sequels to well-established franchises, which is a bit of a bummer. I do want more original films, but again, when we do get original films, it's stuff like Hoppers, and you're just like, who's coming up with these ideas? But anyway, which sequel are you looking forward to most in 2026? Fake Mustache says, yes, we need more Shrek memes. The Shrek memes alone will propel that movie to just 1 billion. And then if it's really good, it'll get 2 billion. I'm so sure of it. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. You guys are already giving me Shrek memes in the chat. Like, the memes are, it's going to be glorious. Okay, Josh thinks Shrek 5 will be the biggest. Rob, none of these are for you. Okay. Most of you are looking forward to Shrek, though. Yeah, I think Shrek would be really huge. I really agree. But anyway, we'll see. 2026. I'm just glad that animation is at least still, like, getting made and, like, has a chance to, you know, be a huge blockbuster, just because I love the medium so much, and whatever's good for the medium makes me happy. But anyway, so Ryan Reynolds will be reuniting with Hugh Jackman and Sean Levy on a new non-Marvel film. So Ryan will be writing it, but it's not a Marvel film. It's not going to be associated with Deadpool and Wolverine at all. It's just the three of them teaming up to make a new non-Marvel movie. So they didn't tell us anything about the plot, no details or confirmed. It's not even really confirmed to be greenlit yet, but it's something that Ryan is announcing, so I'm sure it will be made at some point. I really like this team. I like this trio. I think they obviously create something together that really pleases fans. So I love Free Guy, by the way. I really liked Free Guy. So if we can get another Free Guy, but with Hugh Jackman, I'm cool with that. I think this is a good way to tie over fans until whenever we can see Deadpool and Wolverine again, because if we're not getting back to the X-Men until after Secret Wars, I mean, although they'll probably be in the Avengers, so yeah, this will just be a way, I guess, to tie fans over until we can get to the Avengers movies. So I think this is good for Marvel fans. I think this is good for their careers. You know, they can do something outside of Marvel and still get a hit. So I'm looking forward to this. What do you guys think? Wait, Ashley says, I feel like Jackman is getting tired of him in real life. Why do you feel that way? Du Bois says, I mean, Reynolds and Jackman seem to have pretty good chemistry, so hopefully they'll carry that to this new film. Yeah, I think the chemistry will make whatever movie they do probably at least decent. So I feel like it'll be hard for them to fail with this movie. I think, especially with the momentum from Deadpool, I think this movie will likely do well, as long as it's not a dumb idea. Just don't be hoppers, is basically what I'm saying. Did I say Fall Guy? I meant Free Guy. If I said Fall Guy, I meant Free Guy. I really liked Free Guy. I thought it was underrated. I really liked that movie a lot. But yeah, we don't know what genre it is or anything. It's probably a comedy. But yeah, looking forward to know more about this movie later. So, also, remember I've been telling you guys that the Oscars have been trying to find someone to host for them, and they've considered a number of people, like they've considered Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande from Wicked, but they were also considering Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Well, it seems like Ryan and Hugh will not be hosting the Oscars. Ryan said, "I wouldn't be present mentally. I'd be kind of constantly writing in my head or projecting potential tragic outcomes on the live stage." So I guess Ryan is just saying he doesn't feel like mentally ready to do the Oscars hosting. And I can see that. But honestly, I feel like if I can just read deeper into what his statement is here, I feel like what he's saying is he doesn't know if he wants to host the Oscars so soon after this past election. And I'm thinking he's like, because the hosts usually, not always, but usually they'll like, do some tongue-in-cheek stuff about like politics or make some jabs at Trump or whatever. I'm wondering if maybe he doesn't want to get involved in that. Like when he says he projecting tragic outcomes, like maybe he doesn't want to like say anything that would offend people or get into like a political mess for him. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into the comment, but I'm feeling like maybe that's part of it. But it seems like you guys are very happy about this. Madonna says, "Thank God." Wait, you didn't want this? You didn't want this? Rob says it's basically a live stand-up and that's not easy. Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's an easy job. Like I can understand why he wouldn't want it. But I also think that the events of recently probably are also adding to that, and he's like, I don't know if I want to jump into that right now. But anyway, speaking of the election, oh wait a minute, we'll get into that. But first, Agatha will be submitted for Best Comedy Series consideration during the TV award season. I think that's really good. I think this show is actually strong enough that it might get some nominations. I don't know about wins. WandaVision was nominated for a ton of stuff, but it didn't get a lot of wins. I feel like Agatha All Along could probably go along the same route, unfortunately. But I would love to see Catherine Hahn get something, or even Aubrey Plaza. Patti LuPone, maybe? I don't know. That's probably a stretch. But I just think a nomination would be good enough on itself. I honestly can see it getting something in the Emmy, like any Emmy categories. And it was submitted as a series, not as a limited series. So there's some hope that maybe we'll get a season 2 since they didn't classify it as a limited series. So there's also that. How would you feel about Agatha's Emmy chances? And do you think that it not being considered a limited series means that we'll get a season 2? What do you think? See, a lot of you guys are very excited about this. Yeah, a lot of you think that they should definitely do this. I think it honestly has a good chance. I feel like a lot of people in the industry watched this show just because it was so active on social media. And a lot of people in the industry watched WandaVision. So I feel like there's a decent chance this actually could get some big nominations. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And I do think season 2 could be happening, or at least a spin-off. I don't think this will be the last time we see these characters. I really don't. But anyway, moving on. Like I said, I did want to touch on the election a bit because it's kind of hard not to talk about when the President of the United States could very well reshape or possibly help reshape this industry. And David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, agrees with that. He says a Trump presidency could be really positive for consolidation. I can provide a real positive and accelerated impact on this industry that's needed. So David Zaslav is basically excited that he thinks Donald Trump will make it easier for all of these companies to consolidate and merge and basically grow bigger. And he's happy that he'll have to deal with less government red tape and regulation. That's what I'm reading into this comment. So that's a possibility. That's very much a possibility that Trump could do. And if that happens, then we probably will see a lot of consolidation in the next 4 years, even more so than we've already been seeing. I think something that's been slowing down all the merging is the fact that the government has been kind of weary about like all these big companies merging. But if Trump is more friendly to that, we could see a lot of these studios merging, a lot of these streaming services merging. I think David Zaslav is very, very right that I think this could probably accelerate a lot of the consolidation that's happening in the industry. I think that's very true. So expect a lot more mergers happening is what I'm saying, if David Zaslav is right. Rulunuru says less competition is terrible. Ethereal Dragon says needs to bust monopolies. Nicholas Wilson, thank you so much for the super chat. Trump's election smells suspicious. Well, we're not getting into political conspiracy theories, but thank you for the super chat. Charlie says, oh, more corporate power, just what we need. Yeah, not great. Not great if you don't like monopolies. But honestly, if I have to be real, I feel like this was inevitable anyway. It's just that I think Trump will definitely help accelerate it. And the reason why I feel like all of this was inevitable anyway is because there are way too many streaming services, way too many studios. The media audience is way too stratified because there's way too many channels, way too many places to go watch something, and it's not sustainable the way that it is currently. I think there needs to be some merging and some consolidating just for the benefit of the viewer. I actually think this would be a rare case where like mergers and consolidation could actually help the viewer, because then we might get like a lot of these streaming apps to merge into each other. We might get less chances in content, but that might actually be a good thing because there's an argument to be made that there's way too much content being made right now. So there are some positive aspects to this. I don't even think this is entirely bad, to be honest with you. At least that's my opinion. Feel free to disagree. But anyway, sorry. So Hollywood is jumping, like they are like, all right, Trump's the president. Let's just milk this, I guess, for all the money that they can. Because there is apparently a movie about the Trump assassination attempt that is being discussed with JFK director Oliver Stone. Very interesting. I think, speaking of conspiracy theories, I feel like the conspiracy theories around this event are very interesting. I think that this might actually be a movie that could interest his supporters, because a lot of, well, both his supporters and his detractors, because I think a lot of people want to know more about what really happened that day. And if there's a movie that really goes into it and like maybe unveils some truths, I think this can actually spark some interest in people, more so than that what's his face, the recent Trump movie that just came out with the Bucky actor. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but there was just a Trump movie that came out that did nothing, because obviously his supporters wouldn't want to watch it, and neither would his, detractors. But I feel like this is a movie that actually could spur some interest, just because there are so many conspiracies about what happened that day. So I feel like there could be something here to this. Maybe. Would you guys want to watch a movie around this? The first attempt. I know, the fact that we have to clarify that is crazy. But we're talking obviously about the first assassination attempt. Alright, I'm done saying AS or AA, because I don't want to be like, I don't want Google to censor this. Sebastian Stan, thank you. Sebastian Stan was just in a Trump movie recently that flopped, but I think this could do better than that. I don't know. I honestly feel like there's not been one person that's done a good Trump impression. Like, even on SNL, I don't think that Trump impression's that great. And I didn't think the last guy did it well, too. So, I don't know. I feel like Trump is a really hard guy to impersonate well. Do you guys actually think this could be a hit, though? I think there's something here. I do. I think that there's something here. But anyway, moving on. So, Arcane Season 2 just came out on Netflix. Arcane Season 2 just came out. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it soon. Very, very excited, but I just want to let you guys know, and if you wanted a distraction or anything. So this is out. And apparently, and this is pretty surprising to me, both seasons of Arcane cost $250 million to make. That's crazy. This makes it the most expensive animated series of all time. I mean, the animation looks incredible, so I can see where the money went. But the fact that it cost this much is crazy. I mean, I'm just thankful. Season 2 is the final season anyway. And maybe the reason why they decided to make it the final season is because they knew it was too expensive to get a third season. And they just wanted to make sure they at least finished the story. I can see that being the reason why they ended it. Because, yeah, this is crazy. I would honestly think that with this price tag, Arcane would have to have had, like, crazy viewership this year in order to get a season 2. So it was probably going to end with season 2 regardless. I'm just glad that now we'll at least have a finished story. But yeah. Are you guys surprised by how expensive Arcane is? And have you guys watched season 2 yet? If you have, please do not spoil anything. No spoilers in the chat because I still haven't seen it yet. So yeah, go watch Arcane, Nicholas. Go watch the first season of Tanya. It's still so good. JCB says Arcane is my all-time favorite show. Oh, you have a Jinx jacket? That's cool. Yeah, I feel like there's not as many people talking about season 2, which is also sad. Because this show is so good. I really wanted more. I wanted Arcane to become like the next big mega franchise. Akin to like Stranger Things even. Like, I feel like it had that potential, but it's probably too expensive and perhaps too niche. But it's a really good show. I feel like if it were cheaper, this could have gone on forever and like really built up a huge fan base. I feel like it had that potential, but oh well, we'll never know. Anyway, moving on. So Wonka 2 is also in development. At least that's what Paul King is saying. Just because it's in development doesn't mean that Timothée Chalamet is officially signed on or anything. I don't think he has. I'm willing to bet the reason he hasn't is because I bet he's asking for a crazy ton of money. I bet he's like, I'm the biggest actor here. Didn't you see that they had a look-alike contest? Like, I'm the biggest like, you know, I bet he's asking for a big salary. I mean, to be fair, his career has exploded in recent years. He is, I think, at this point, a household name. So he is worth, you know, a big paycheck, but I bet he's asking for a big paycheck. And I bet that's what the holdup is for Wonka 2. I'm willing to bet money on that. But are you guys excited for the prospect of a Wonka 2? You guys know my opinion on the first film. I thought it was too sugary sweet. It's not what I like about the Wonka franchise. I like the creepy horror aspects of the Wonka franchise. I like Willy Wonka being a bit of like a, is he or is he not a sociopath? Like, I like that about the character, and they took all of that away and made something, in my opinion, that was incredibly too sugary, sweet, and bland. And it was everything that I didn't like about Willy Wonka. But obviously, I've been outvoted because most people really like this movie, and it actually did very well. So I don't have to like this movie to acknowledge that a Wonka 2 is obviously a very good idea. But what do you guys think? Timothy should be Prince Charming? I think that's a good idea, actually. I could see Timmy as Prince Charming. Josh also thinks that. Okay. You know, something else, another reason why he might not have signed on yet is because maybe he's considering other movies. I can see that. Rob says, I just wasn't interested, but obviously the goal of making it was to start a franchise. Yeah, I really hate the direction they went with it. I really, truly do. Like, I don't like how, like, Wonka's a nice guy now. Like, Wonka's not supposed to be a nice guy. He's supposed to be a bit of a trickster. He's supposed to, you know, want to punish naughty kids, you know? Like, I can't imagine Timothée Chalamet's, like, Wonka being like the same Wonka that does like Gene Wilder's, you know, tunnel scene. You know what I mean? Like, those are two very different characters. Very different. I like the Gene Wilder, even the Johnny Depp crazy version of the character. I don't like this good guy. Oh, I just want to make chocolate for everybody. Like, I can't stand this kind of Wonka. I hate it. I genuinely don't like this movie because I don't like what they did with the character. But I know most people love this movie. Most people like the direction of it, but I just really didn't. But yeah, anyway, we're probably getting a sequel regardless, especially if Timmy C actually signs up. So we'll see. He probably will, though, because they're probably going to, like, give him a huge paycheck. But moving on, and other good news. You guys can tell that I really did not like that movie. It actually annoys me that not more people, like, wanted, like, the classic version of the character. Like, why would you want this so boring, like, let's just have everyone hold hands and sing Kumbaya kind of Willy Wonka. Like, I hate that. I hate it. But anyway. Neither here nor there. Macaulay Culkin has been cast in Fallout Season 2. I really like this for Macaulay Culkin. I wonder if he's in the middle of a Macaulay Culkin renaissance, because there have been rumors that Disney is considering doing another Home Alone movie that's actually in theaters with Macaulay Culkin returning, so it's not going to be some new kid. It's going to be like him as an adult, probably with a new kid. So if they do that and he's in this show, I would love to see Macaulay Culkin return to acting. I think that's really cool. He's turned out to be kind of like a funky, cool adult, so that's interesting. I'm just really happy for him. I think this is really cool. Potato Girl says, who could match Gene Wilder? I need someone who can pull off Psycho vibes. Whoever you would cast as Patrick Bateman and the remake of American Psycho, that's the same list of actors I would want as freaking Willy Wonka. I'm not kidding you. That's who I see Willy Wonka. You guys are saying good for him. Macaulay song. I'm gonna call it the Macaulay songs. But anyway, I just thought this was a bit of good news, not a huge story. Also, Orphan 3 is officially in the works. Isabella Furham will return as Esther. You know, she really pulled it off in the first Orphan. You know, about to spoil this, so spoiler alert for Orphan 1. Because she does look like so much like a kid in the movie. Like, she really can pull off being a kid. Like, that was a believable twist. But it's been several years. Isabella Furman. Let's actually look up a picture. I should have had this ready. Let's see. Okay. I mean, she doesn't look old. But I don't know if she can pull off being a kid. You know? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like she might have aged past the point where she can believably play an adult pretending to be a kid. So I don't know about this. I don't know. Would you guys still be interested in the Orphan franchise? Are you still interested in seeing more from this character? I did love the first Orphan movie. I just don't know if they can repeat the success because the surprise was what made the movie. The surprise is over. Like, there's no more surprise. Bye, boy. Seems like not many of you are that interested in this movie. Alright. Moving on, though. So, there will be a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, which I personally am super excited about. I played Hogwarts Legacy, the first game, all the way to completion. Very, very good game. If you're a Harry Potter fan like I am, it is the dream Harry Potter game you've always wanted to play. The open world map is incredible. I loved getting to fly around the grounds. I loved getting sorted. I loved being able to explore Hogwarts. And the fact that the sequel is a top priority makes me so freaking happy. I actually wish that if the live action Harry Potter TV show, if the writer on that hasn't even read the books, then I wish they at least based the show off of the story from the games, because the story in the game is actually very interesting. Like, I could totally watch a show just based off the story from the game, but they're not even doing that, so I don't know, that's kind of frustrating. But I'm at least happy that we're getting a sequel to it. Did anyone else play Hogwarts Legacy, and did you enjoy as much as me? Literally, I could not put the game down. Like, I could not put my controller down. I had to play it until it was done. Like, I was so locked in. I haven't been obsessed with a game like that in a long time, but I was that into it. It wasn't buggy for me. It does need Quidditch, I agree. I hope the sequel has Quidditch. I really do. I couldn't believe that you can, well, you can sort of play Quidditch in the sense that you can, like, fly, and, like, there's a whole practice thing where you can fly through rings or whatever. But, yeah, there's no, like, Quidditch game that you can fly. Oh, yeah, Sebastian's side quest. Yes, Nicholas. Sebastian's story would have been so interesting to watch on, like, a TV show. I really wish they were adapting the games instead of just doing the books again. Because the game had a really interesting story. If you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend it. It's a really, really fun game, especially if you like Harry Potter. Alright. So, it seems like Robert Zemeckis wants to direct a movie adaptation of Back to the Future. But Universal is not interested. And he wants it to be the musical version. So, if you guys didn't know, there's a musical version of Back to the Future that was on Broadway. I believe it was Broadway. It's not anymore. But they want to direct a movie adaptation of it, which is really, really, in my opinion, that's like right up my wheelhouse. That's combining musicals with sci-fi, which you guys know are my two favorite, like, genres. So I would love this. I don't know how Back to the Future fans would feel about it, because I feel like they'd probably hate the musical aspect, but I would love it. Would you guys want to see a Back to the Future remake as a musical? Because I feel like that's right up my alley, but I feel like maybe that's not what fans want. So be honest, would you want to see this? If you guys don't care about Back to the Future, or have you guys not even seen Back to the Future? Be honest. Be honest. If you haven't seen it, just tell me. Charlie says, I love Back to the Future. I think they still hold up. Musical can see that bombing hard. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this might be like a Joker situation where, like, doing another movie is a good idea, but trying to make it a musical might really backfire. That's where I'm, like, caught, where I'm like, personally I would love it, but I know people would hate it. Nicholas Wilson says, nope. Fake Mustache says, not for me. Okay, so it seems like most of you are like, nah, let's not do this. Yeah, it probably would be a bad idea, but I would personally love it, so we'll see if this ever happens. It seems like Universal's not interested anyway. Moving on. So, Zendaya and Anne Hathaway have been cast in Christopher Nolan's next film, which, if you guys remember, is also starring Tom Holland and Matt Damon. So that means we now have Zendaya and Tom Holland both starring in a Christopher Nolan film that's coming out in 2026. That's so funny. They keep getting cast together just because I do think they look really good together. I don't know if they're going to be playing a couple or anything, but I do think it's funny that they're going to be in the same movie together. Also, this is really huge for both their individual careers. Like, for both Zendaya and Tom Holland, this is massive for them. Really, really happy for them. I really hope Zendaya's role is large and not just like another 2-line role or something like that. I'm really frustrated that she keeps getting cast in roles like that. I really hope this is a very meaty role for her, that maybe this could be Oscar worthy for her. That's what I want anyway. But yeah, I just think that's really sweet that they're in this movie together, and now that makes me even more excited for it. Especially if it is horror. In fact, the rumor is that this movie is supposed to be a vampire film. Remember when I was telling you guys that, like, there were rumors that this movie could be like kind of like an unusual film for him, and I was musing that maybe it's a musical? Well, the rumor is that it's a vampire movie. So if you're interested in a Christopher Nolan vampire movie starring Tom Holland and Zendaya, which for me, it's like, sounds amazing. Like, that sounds like right up my alley, for like specifically. But I don't know if like Christopher Nolan fans are into that. That seems like a movie that's aimed towards my demographic. I don't know if this is really something that like Christopher Nolan fans would want, but who knows? Does that sound interesting to you if you're a Christopher Nolan fan? Okay, Potato Girl sounds excited. Alright. Yeah, I think this sounds really cool, right? They have great chemistry. Christopher Nolan's a great director. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I know. It would be really awkward if they broke up, but they've been together for a long time now. Ethereal Dragon says, seems like they're complaining about wizards around the world having different costumes. What are you talking about? Oh, the Harry Potter game. Oh. I really like the Harry Potter game. It's fun. But anyway, I think this is really big for both of their careers, and I can't wait to see them in this movie together. I think that's really cute. Also, bad news, which I literally gasped when I read this because I was so upset. But Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 has been delayed 3 months to April 18th. Why did they delay it to April? It was supposed to come out in January. Now it's not coming out until April. You guys know that I was really looking forward to this movie. Like, I have been talking to you guys about this movie pretty much every time we got new marketing for it. Because, again, freaking Robert Pattinson, a Bong Joon-ho movie, has me written all over it. So I was really excited for it. And I've been excited for it. But this isn't even the first time it's been delayed. It was supposed to originally come out this year. And then it got moved to January. And now it's gotten moved to April. So I don't know why they keep delaying the movie. I really don't. Is it not finished yet? Are they still editing it? Like, what? Why are they moving it? I really don't know. But I'm super frustrated and I'm very upset because I wanted to see this movie. And this is the worst news ever. And no, I did not even mean to have a Robert Pattinson story after my vampire story. It just happened like that. And now, that's really funny. So yes. Seeing you guys are very disappointed. I mean, it's not a bad delay. It's only a couple of months, but it's like it keeps getting delayed, and I'm very frustrated. I hope this is the last delay because I really want this movie. But anyway, moving on. We did get some images on the next season of Stranger Things. It looks like a lot of it has been filmed already. I love how a lot of these photos look like they were shot on film. It looks to me like, well, not this one, but I don't know. I really like just the hominess of it. And I think this season is probably going to really harp on just the found family aspect and like all these characters coming together. Because like the previous seasons, these characters have kind of been all over the place, like divided. Like we've had little groups in the town, then we had little groups in another town, and like they've all just been like in separate places. I really think this next season, or at least I hope this next season, will actually see them kind of all actually in the same town again. I don't want them to see them like all spread apart. So seeing these photos of them all together makes me feel like that's what we're going to get. So I'm really hopeful about that. Cheetah Viper says they look too old to be kids. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they look like they could be in college. I don't know. They don't look too old. Like, they still look young, but like, yeah, I think this needed to be the final season for sure. I think the next season would have been too unbelievable. Yes, the episode titles. Let's go over the episode titles. So, hold on. We do have the new episode titles. It's called The Crawl, The Vanishing of Redacted, so we don't know yet. The Turnbow Trap, Sorcerer, Shock Jock, Escape from Camazotz, The Bridge, and The Right Side Up. So very interesting name titles. I have no idea what they mean, but I do like that the last episode is supposedly called The Right Side Up. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll see some like big shift in the upside down where maybe everything's finally right side up or something, and maybe that's what that's alluding to. But I don't know. Very, very creepy sounding names, though. That's for sure. Now, apparently this season is supposed to take place a year after the events of Season 4. So there will be a bit of a time jump in between. So I'm very curious to see like where all the characters are at the beginning of Season 5. That's probably going to be what the entire first episode is going to be about. So at least there's a time jump, which I think is actually a good thing because I feel like we need to see how the events of the last season have settled since then. So I think this is probably a good thing. But what would you guys like to see in the next season of Stranger Things? Are you still excited for this show? Are you into Stranger Things at all? Are you even watching this show? Let me know in the chat. You're right. I didn't see Max. I would have thought, like, I would have saw Max in those pictures, but I'm sure she'll be a big part of the season. Fake Mustache never watched Stranger Things. Oh no. Stranger Things is really good. I think it's one of those shows that really deserves the hype that it gets. I think it's a really good show. But anyway, I think not a lot of you watch it. The last thing I wanted to share was just something that I thought was funny. Daniel Craig was asked who he would like to see play James Bond next, and he said simply, "I do not care." He doesn't care. He got his money. He long wanted to be done with James Bond, and now he's out, and he's like, "I couldn't care less what you do with these movies going forward." He's very candid and honest about his dislike of this franchise, which is so crazy because he's such a beloved James Bond, yet he so openly despises this character. That is very, very odd. But yeah, I just thought this was funny, and the last thing I wanted to end on. Anyway, that is the end of the show today. Like I said, we had a lot to go over, a ton of news. I hope you guys are still with me. Thank you. It's been 2 hours. That's crazy. I had a suspicion that it would be this long, but like, I did kind of warn you guys we'd probably be here for a while, because yeah, that was a lot of news to go over. Hope you're not too overwhelmed. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys being on my show and being very engaged and active in the chat. I'll see you guys next Sunday. And yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about then.